Hello to my Oshkosh guitar students and anyone else who is watching this. I hope you are well. I'm going to be doing this guitar video about chords and chords in a way that I would say it's kind of out of context. So how I normally teach chords would be within a key. So for example, in the key of C, you have a scale that goes C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You don't have to remember any of this. This is just kind of an idea of how we're going to talk about chords today versus how I would normally teach them. So normally we would go C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and then we would have the chords C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and then C. So that would be chords in the context of the key of C. C major, D minor, E minor, F major, C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and then C. So this version of chords, I'm going to try to get through this fast so that you don't have to watch a 45-minute video. I've done this video a few times so far today, and it just keeps getting longer and longer, so we're going to try to go fast. Chords. The A chord, the B chord, the C chord, the D chord, the E chord, the F chord, the G chord. Then A minor, B minor, C minor, and going through all of the chords that are minors. And then, let's see here, so I'm going through majors, minors, 7, what I would call a dominant 7 chord, that would be like an A7, B7. Then I'm doing the minor 7 chords, the major 7 chords, and then the sus2s, and then the sus4s. So I have these sheets that I will be reading off of. If you need these sheets, you can email me and ask for them, or if you are currently one of my students, I'll give them to you during a lesson, or email them to you, because I'm only doing remote lessons right now. So if you need these sheets, let me know. I'll figure out how to get them to you. So how I'm going to try to do this is I will hold the guitar in a way that you can see what strings I'm plucking, and then what fingers I'm using, and what frets and strings I'm using. So, as an example, that first chord that I played in the key of C would be a C chord. So you can see I'm going to go 2nd string, 1st fret, 4th string, 2nd fret, 5th string, 3rd fret, and then my fingers 1, 2, 3. And then over here, I will pluck from the 5th string to the small string, like this. I don't want to play the big string for this. For the D chord, you can see where I'm placing my fingers, and then I will strum from the D string down, from the 4th string to the small string. The E chord would look like this. Now this is all just an example of me strumming, so you don't have to remember any of this or try to play these. So the E chord, I'm going to play everything. So some chords I'm only going to play a few strings. Some chords I will play the all of the strings. So another thing that's going to happen is when I'm doing this, you'll notice that on some chords I use different fingerings. So I might use my 1st, 2nd, and 3rd on this A chord, or I might use my 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, depending on what I'm going to do. So usually if I would use one of these 2 fingerings, it would be for an exact purpose. So for instance, it's easy to play using this example here, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, I should say, 1, 2, 3. That's an easy one just if I'm grabbing that A chord. But if I'm moving from an A chord to a B chord, you'll notice here we have a bar, and then we have 2, 3, and 4, 2, 3, and 4. So if I'm going to move from an A chord to a B chord, it might be better for me to use this additional set of fingerings over here. So 0, 2, 3, 4, 0, and then here with the bar it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And we'll talk about that kind of as we go, but I'm not going to talk a lot just because of there's a lot of chords to cover. So again, I'll try to hold this guitar and move it around so you can see what chords or what fingers and frets and strings I'm using, and then try to make this obvious too for the strumming. And I'm just going to go through these, and I might have to pause every once in a while and correct myself if I make a mistake, but I'm going to try to go through these in a way that you'll be able to follow them. And I'm going kind of fast because I know that we can pause if we need to, but I don't want this video to be 45 minutes long like the last time I tried to make it. So here's our A chord. Here's another version of the A chord. with my last 3 fingers. Now then, from here, I would slide up 1, 2 frets, then place my first finger down as a bar at the 2nd fret and play those same strings. Now there's my B chord. I should also say, if this chord is too tough, skip it, go to the next one. You don't have to be able to play all of these chords perfectly from the first time through. This might be a project that you work on over a couple months, and then as your fingers get stronger, they'll be able to relax more, and when you can relax, you'll gain more flexibility. Also, you can tell I've been doing this for a while here today. So, A chord, B chord, just moved down 2 frets and placed a bar down. Now, you'll notice I'm using this bar in a way that I'm pressing this down and I'm pressing this down. I'm not worrying about these because my fingers are blocking them. So I'm only worried about this note and then this note down here. That way, I don't have to worry about being able to get that bar perfect. It doesn't have to be. It just has to be good enough to do this. Okay, so A, B, C, D, E, I'm going to move down, then go here. So D to E. Anytime you can take fingers and pay attention to how they're moving, that will help you with your orientation on the guitar neck so you can feel like you know where you're at. D, E. Another way of playing the E is right now I'm using my first 3 fingers. Instead, I'm going to use my last 3 fingers. So E, like this. Then my first finger is free, E. Take that and go up 1 fret. Place my finger down here for the bar. There's my F. G. Another version of the G is right here. So first 3 fingers for a G, playing everything. First 3 fingers, last 3 fingers. Also, I should say, you can see that even though this finger here has a long ways to go, I'm still trying to keep it curved. I want a gentle curve in that finger as opposed to straight like this. The more that I can keep that curve in my finger, the clearer the strings are going to sound underneath, unless I want it flat to deaden strings, but right now I don't. So there's my G. So that was A, or A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. So that's the first section. Then, let's see here, I dropped my paper. Now we're going to go through the minors. So, A minor, and just like the A major, we can use the last 3 fingers instead of the first 3. A minor, like this. That allows us to move down 1, 2 frets, place our bar down. There's our B. A minor, B minor. Then 1 fret further is a C minor. A minor, B minor, C minor. Now this is kind of cool. If we went 2 more frets down, so that would be all the way up onto the 5th fret, that's a D minor. So A minor, B minor, C minor, D minor. Now another way of playing the D, so you don't have to come all the way down here, would be here's also a D minor right here. And again, I'm just playing D minor. You could do this as well if you wanted to. That's a little awkward for me because of this finger. You could also do, here's your D minor, and then you could use your little finger instead of your 3rd, so you could go like this. Okay, so that's your D minor. E minor, you can go like this. E minor. You can go like this, or you can go like this. E minor. It's a pretty easy one to get hold of. E minor. Okay, F minor. E up 1 fret is an F minor. minor is up 2 frets. Now another version of the G minor. So you take your G, like what we did before, you take your third finger, you move it up 1 string, so it covers that D note, then you put your little finger down here, so there's my G chord. Then I take this finger, my first finger, and I stretch it down to the 1st fret instead of the 2nd fret. So that's another version of the G minor. Here's the bar chord version. Here is the open chord version. I personally like this a lot more, but it is a bit of a stretch for some people. So that's my G minor. Now from there we're going to the A7. There are a lot of ways of playing this. You can go A7, you can go A7, A7, A7. Doesn't really matter. You need an A chord, and then you take this A note right here and you move it down to a G. So it's an A chord with a G note added. There's my A7. Another version of the A7 is taking that A and adding the G up here instead. It makes the 7th tone stand out, so it's a brighter sound. Another version would be using a bar here, and then maybe my 2nd or my 3rd finger. So that's A7. B7, you take your little finger, 1st string 2nd fret, then go 2nd fret of the 3rd string, 2nd fret of the 5th string, and then take your 1st finger here, 1st fret of the 4th string, and then you do not play the big string, B7. Another way of doing that, put your 1st finger down here at the D sharp. You don't have to remember these notes, just know where you're going to put your finger. Put your finger here, and then here, then here, then here. That's my B7. Okay, C7. You've already learned your C chord. Take your little finger and put it on the 3rd fret of the 3rd string. That is a C7. D7. Take your D chord, and this D note has to go down 1, 2 frets. So here's the D note. It goes down 1, 2 frets. The easiest way to do that is your 1st finger, your 2nd finger, and your 3rd. So again, 1, 2, 3. And then you'll only play the 4 smallest strings. There's my D7 chord. E7. Here's your E chord. We learned the E chord before. E7 is simply lift this finger up. So here's the E that we knew from before. Lift this finger up. There's my E7. E, E7. Another version of this, so this note that I'm adding is a D note. Another version is to add that D note up here on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. So E, E7. E, E7. Then we can use different fingering. So instead of using these 3 fingers, I'm going to use these 3 fingers. E, E7, up 1 fret, F7. E, E7, E, F7. Okay, so that gets us through that one. Then let's see, next is the G7. G or G. Take this version with your last 3 fingers, lift up your 4th finger, and put your 1st finger down here at the F note. 1st finger, 1st fret. There's my G7, G, G7. Another way of doing this is take this version of the G, take your 3rd finger, move it up to the 3rd fret of the 4th string, and then put your little finger down here to replace where your 3rd was, and there is more of a subtle version of the G7 chord. G, G7. Okay, so that's all the 7s. Now we're going to go to the minor 7. Here was our A minor. The A minor 7, simply lift this finger up. A minor 7. Another version, this note right here is a G. We're adding a G note to the A minor. We can also add that up here. So this A minor 7, A minor 7. B minor 7 would be like this. So here was our B7 that we already learned. If we take this note here and we lift it up, that is our B minor 7. So you can use this fingering. You can also use this fingering. It's the same notes, I'm just changing fingerings. So I could go like this, which is similar to the B7 if it's easy to go from something you already know. Then right here. So that would be the B minor 7. Going back to the A minor 7, we're going to use this version here of the A minor, turn it to an A minor 7, go up 1, 2 frets, put our bar down, that's a B minor 7, go up 1 more fret, that is a C minor 7, C minor 7, go up 1, 2 frets, that is a D minor 7. So, A minor 7, B minor 7, C minor 7, D minor 7. From here, we come down to the D minor that we learned before. We take this note here and we move it down to here, which looks like this. So first finger across these 2 strings, and then right here. Right there is my D minor 7. Now, one thing that can happen is that's a lot of different textures without a lot of space. So if we come up here and do this version of the D minor 7, it might sound better to some people's ears, because we have a few more strings that we're using versus this. Whatever you prefer is fine. Also, practically speaking, if I'm down here and I want a D minor 7, it's not always practical for me to jump all the way up. So we kind of mix the convenience of where we need to be on the guitar neck with what we prefer for our sound. Like, we could also go way, way up here and play a D minor 7 and have a lot more sound. But if I'm going from a C to a D minor 7 to a D minor 7, that's very full, but it isn't very practical compared to going. So there's a lot of different things that you have to decide when you're doing this type of thing. So that was D minor 7. I don't know if I said this yet because I do not remember, but I have all of these sheets, and if you need them, email me and I can try to get you PDFs or something. Or just look up diagrams on the internet. I'm sure Google can get you a lot of nice things like this. So E minor 7 is our next one, E minor 7. Here's an E minor, here's an E minor 7. Here's an E minor, here is an E minor 7. So an E minor with a D note added becomes an E minor 7. E minor, E minor 7. E minor, E minor 7. F minor 7, we simply take the E minor 7, move up 1 fret, F minor 7. G minor 7, we take the F minor 7, go up 1, 2 frets. There's my G minor 7. So it's tough to see exactly what fingers I'm holding down, but you can see I'm using my first finger, then I'm using my third finger. I like to balance this so that my thumb is closer to my third or second finger than my first, because this finger tends to be the stronger one. So if I place my thumb up here, I get a little bit better leverage for this finger because it's kind of out there in the middle of nowhere. So that was G minor 7. Next is major 7. Here's an A. To take this and turn it into an A major 7, we need to take this A note and move it down 1 fret. Here is an A major 7. A major 7. Another version of this would be to take this version of an A and add a G sharp. So the easiest way to get there would be right here. A major 7, A major 7. A major 7, A major 7, up 1, 2 frets, B major 7. A major 7, B major 7. C major 7, super, super easy. Here's my C chord. lift my first finger up, and that becomes a C major 7. C, C major 7. D major 7 would be taking this note here and going down 1 fret. So D major 7, or D major 7. E major 7, here's my E. I need to lower this 1 fret. The easiest way for me to do this would be to take this finger and go, let's see here. I would go first, second, and third. That would be the easiest way. I'm trying to hurry here. This is not a super clear sound, but it's the easiest way to get an E major 7, at least down here on the guitar neck. If you remember, A major 7, B major 7, B major 7, C major 7, D major 7, E major 7, if that's easier. Or down here. Whatever's easiest or preferred. Okay, using these fingers instead. Go up 1 fret. Now we have an F major 7. You can see I'm leaning into this to gain strength without straining my fingers. And it's more about the angle that I'm using here so that I can keep my wrist from being too exhausted. Okay, so that was F major 7. Next is, let's see here, where am I at? G major 7 will be next. G major, I would use this version, G major. Before we went from a G major to a G7, G major to a G major 7. G major 7, G7. G major 7, G7. G major 7. Okay, next is sus2. Here's an A. We replace the C sharp note right here. We replace that with a B note. That's the second tone up from an A. So A, B. An A sus2 is an A note or an A chord with a B note added. Here's my A. Here's my A sus2. Take this. Go up 2 frets. That's my B sus2. C sus2 is a C with the E note is replaced by a D note. So here's my C, here's an E. If I move that to an open string, that is the easiest way to do in C sus2. Another one would be like this. D sus2. Here's my D. I need to take this F sharp and make it an E note. So here's my D sus2. E sus2. This one's a little bit tricky because we need to replace this note right here with an F sharp. So we could do that up here, but then we kind of run out of. Or we could go like this. And then I'm muting this. This one here I'm muting with the underneath of my third finger. Go up 1 fret, put my bar down. There's my F2. F sus2. Another version of this is you need to take your F chord and you replace the A note with a G note, this open G. So you could go like this. The very beautiful chord. But you want to avoid these two. So that was the F sus2, 2 different versions of it. G sus2 is a G chord, and we want to replace the B note with an A note. So that would be. And I am blocking this B string by placing a D note down here. Another thing I can do is I can add an A right here instead of right here, and that will bring the A tone to a higher frequency so that it stands out more. sus2. Okay, that's all of the sus2 chords. Now we will quickly run through the sus4. So here's an A. To do an A sus2, we replace the C sharp with a B note. A sus4, we replace the C sharp with a D. So here's a C, here's a C sus4. B sus4 will be, take that exact shape, up 1, 2 frets, and a bar. A C sus4 is going to be a C, and we replace the F, or we replace the E with an F. We can also add an F down here if we want to. D sus4. Replace the F sharp with the G. In E sus4, we replace the G sharp with an A. So here's my E sus4. F sus4, we take the E sus4, we move up 1 fret, place our bar down, there's our F sus4. G sus4, we take our G chord, and we want this to become a C. So we replace the B with a C. Another one of these would be you take this version of the G and add a C note down here. Okay, I think that's everything. And yay, I kept it less than a half hour. That's pretty incredible. So basically, I'm gonna restate. When you're going through this, you can be really particular and you can say, I'm not moving on to the next chord until I get this chord perfect. And that's fine, but it might take you months to do such a thing. And what would happen is if you just simply skip the chord that is too difficult, play the next chord, and keep doing that. So every day you start from the beginning and you go all the way through and skip the chords that are too difficult. You still try to play them, but if you cannot play them, then move on. By moving on, you're going to continue to exercise and gain coordination with your fingers so that at a certain point, when you hit that first chord that's impossible to do, your fingers will have gained strength and coordination and they'll suddenly be able to do it. So don't get frustrated. Don't lose patience. Try your best, but don't push yourself to the point where you're straining your fingers or you're doing damage to your tendons or your joints or your muscles. So always avoid as much tension as you can. Always be as close to perfect as you can do without straining yourself. So we want to be very patient with our fingers. Our brain is very smart. Our fingers take a little bit longer to catch up. So when you're playing a chord like, well, let's see, this one here. So when I'm doing this might be too tough for me at first. So then I'm just gonna try and do as much as I can. And then if this note isn't perfect to start out with, I'll just go like this and I'll be happy. And then eventually all of them will start to work. You can also you can abbreviate these chords and do, like, maybe I might do, instead of this full F sus4, I might just do this. Or I might just do this. You can kind of decide as you go, but don't push yourself too hard. That's what I'm trying to say here. Don't push yourself too hard, and then also don't pause your learning because you think you need to do everything perfect as it's presented. Do your best with each section. And then also, if you're able to do guitar lessons, you will hear me talk over and over about how important it is to learn chords within the context. So don't take this video as an indication that I'm okay just randomly learning chords. I think that's wonderful, but if you really want to learn chords and how they interact with music, it's very much worth learning chords within a key. And if you want to do that and you don't have access to a way of doing that, email me and I can help you out. So thank you. I hope that this video is beneficial. I hope you are doing well, and I hope you are staying warm. In Wisconsin right now, we are kind of freezing, but it's okay. That's how we like it, I guess. Thank you. Stay healthy and stay well. Bye.